going to be making a poinsettia. This particular poinsettia though is not on a stem. It's going to be on a flat back. I used ultra suede, but you can also use felt or anything that's fairly stable. So to start, I have already cut all my pattern pieces out, and I have also run a base stitch. The base stitch is what gives you your gathers. I use a quilt thread in the bobbin, which I'm trying to find here. And the reason I use quilt thread is that it's a little bit stronger, because once the fabric's been treated with Terial Magic, it's a little bit stiffer. So we're going to walk the gathers all the way to the end. I back tacked on one end so that we don't have to worry about losing those stitches or tying a knot. So we're going to try to gather this to about between 2 and 3 inches. The tighter you're able to gather this, the fuller the petals are going to be, or in this case, the leaves. So I'm just going to pull those. So then once I've decided they're pulled tight enough, I'm going to pull the top thread like this. Don't pull it so much that it breaks, but what it'll do is it'll pull the bobbin thread through the holes and just give you enough of a lock so you don't have to worry about tying. It's a nice tip to know. Now we're going to be using low heat hot glue, and we're going to put a little dab of glue, and we're going to bring this is on the wrong side of the fabric, we're going to bring it around so that it holds together in a circle. And this is the base of our flower. I'm now going to take the ultra suede, I'm going to put some glue on it, and I'm just going to glue that to the back side, and that'll give us a base that we're building on right there. So now we're going to go to layer 3 on the pattern, and this is the first layer of petals, and we're going to go ahead and pull this again to between 2 and 3 inches. I used 2 different fabrics for the petals, and if you can see here, I use a dark, then a light, then a dark, and then of course the gold center. And this is just the opposite of that. It's light, dark, and then light again. But you can do any mixture of fabrics you want, or it can all be the same. So let's just finish gathering this. Be fairly gentle, because once you break the thread, then you've got to, of course, take everything out and start over, which I have done many times. So don't fault yourself. It happens to everybody. We'll snip those, and once again, we'll flip it on the wrong side, put a dab of glue, fold this around, and don't worry about the low heat glue, hot glue beads, because the strings, we'll take care of them in the end. The minute they dry, they just pull off like hairs. So now I'm going to try to arrange this in such a way that a lot of the green shows, and that's a good way. That right there is perfect. So I'm just going to leave it there. I'm going to open it up, and I'm going to put glue on top of the base stitches, break away, and then press this down. Okay, now we're going to the next layer. This is the second layer. Again, find the bobbin thread, which is the quilt thread. I'd always use 2 different color threads so that I always know what is the bobbin, especially if you're using fabric that you can't tell the right side from the wrong side, like a batik or a Kona cotton. Okay, now I'm going to pull the top thread again, cut that, put a dab of, oops, wrong side, shouldn't matter. And again, we're going to place this on top and arrange it so that the petals alternate. You don't want them on top of each other like this. You want to alternate, because that's how it is in nature. And then we're going to place a bead of glue along the base stitching again, and then press this down. Okay. It's our last layer of petals. I have these long nails, and they're kind of hard to sometimes maneuver threads. There we go. Okay. Now we're just gonna pull this down. And then pull the top thread again. Sometimes you can hear it kind of pop, but don't be expecting it, because if you pull too hard, you'll break the thread. Okay, so now I'm going to just put another layer of glue on the stitching and then press this down. And now this is the centerpiece, and we're going to do the same thing. Gather it. It's probably going to gather to about 3 inches. This has metallic in it, a lot of metallic, and so it's a little bit harder to walk the stitches down. And if you find it too hard, this is a bottle of water. You can just spritz this with a little bit of water, and don't worry about the Terial Magic. It'll stay in it. You have to soak the Terial Magic out, and that way it walks down much easier. So if you're ever working with Terial Magic treated fabric and it's too stiff, just spritz it with a little bit of water and it'll be back to like it's untreated fabric. So we're just gonna keep walking these down. It's a little bit longer than the petals. And here, that's about 3 inches. We can pull it down a little bit more. It's really easy when it's damp. Okay, now we'll pull the top thread. And now we're going to roll this onto itself so that actually it's right side. So I'm going to put a dab of glue right on the end and then just fold it over, and that's going to give me a beginning spot. It's important to use low heat hot glue because that would have really burned just then. So now I'm just going to flatten this out and add some glue right along the stitching for about 1 inch or 2. And then I'm going to take this and just roll it, trying to keep the edges as even as possible. If it starts spiraling, you're going to get a very odd center and it's not going to look very good. So really try to keep your edges smooth. You might just want to pick it up, and there you go. I'm going to trim this thread. And then I'm going to hit this with some glue on the back side. And then we're just going to stick it right here in the center. And don't worry that it looks kind of funny sticking up like that. It's all going to change once the glue dries. And then once it's dry, even though the fabric's still a little damp, it should fold down. And if it doesn't, you wait for it to dry and then it'll definitely fold down. But I think this will fold down pretty well. And then the center, I like to add a sequin with a rhinestone. And I chose some gold ones. So I'm going to use a pair of tweezers here and pick this up. Oops, I'm going to try to pick it up. And hit the back of it with a little bit of glue. That's my dog playing with his squeaky toy. He wants to go on a walk. We're past his walk time, so he's... that darn glue. So I'm going to try to pick this up again and hit the back of the sequin with some glue. And then just set this in the center. Hold it down for a second. And there you are. Isn't that beautiful? And you can put Velcro on the back. You can just, I don't know, put a pin on the back. But there you go. Have fun.